about that? Oh. How good does that feel? I don't think I know quite yet. Oh, well, obviously, huge victory. Awesome for the kids in the program. Awesome for Beaver Nation. That crowd was amazing. Home field advantage is intense when you get in that scenario, in that situation. And just thank you for everybody coming out here and hanging with these kids all year long. They fought, they battled. You know, they went through a lot, ups and downs and in and outs, and they found a way to run the ball and pound it to go win a football game. And it's kind of been our MO, and found a way to get enough stops on defense to win it. And it was stressful to watch, but it was a joy to watch at the same time. So I'm grateful to be around these kids and grateful for the opportunity to be the head coach at Oregon State University.
Gary, you just mentioned running the ball. I think it was like 21 consecutive times that you ran it at one point. When it started raining really hard,
Yeah.
was that a conscious decision, like we need to start running it, or did you see something with their defense, or just what was the decision making behind
No,
that?
it was a lot to do with the weather. That was a hard downfall, and then we also knew that we had the wind to our advantage in that last quarter, which was good. I thought it'd be difficult to throw the ball, and although they made a couple very nice plays there on that last drive to keep things alive for them. But wanted to be physical in the run game, keep on pounding. I thought the coaches did a tremendous job of mixing it up and kept changing. It looks like the same play over and over, but it's a lot of different bells and whistles and motions coming with it. And we handed it off and thought we'd get physical, and that's who we want to be as a football program, is tough-minded kids that can find a way, and those were two big-time drives. Okay. We didn't get to 1,000. So, but, 150 some odd yards. Ryan was awesome. I think AP just continues to get better and better. He had a couple big runs in there, but Ryan is a workhorse. You just keep pounding the ball, good things are going to happen. He's hard to bring down. I thought Marcus did a masterful job again of mastering the clock and handling the clock in those situations. He snapped it almost every time with 5 or less seconds. And the offensive line, put it in their hands, right? And we put it in Ricky Ortiz's hands to get out there and block like crazy. And we got some blocks down the field that were also good out of those wide receivers. So that was a big statement when you had to have it on a big stage, which I felt like we handled the big stage in the second half much better than we did in the first half. When I say that, they get up by 10. We don't panic. We keep our composure. We find a way to make a couple plays and, end up flipping the game back in our favor.
When you got down 24-14,
Well, if I remember right, we came back and we had another. It's good for him. We gave him some field position obviously there, and came back out, and they put together a nice drive and scored, and got up by the 10 points that they got up from. But I didn't feel like the kids were panicked. I don't feel like we really had to change anything on offense or defense. We just had to make a play on the on the defensive side of the ball to get out of a drive, and then we put together a nice drive to cut it back down to 3. So, they're growing up. We still, some of those glaring freshmen and young kid mistakes show up every once in a while, but we can learn from them as we go forward.
Gary, obviously, this is only your second year for the Civil War, but the streak was at 8 games for Oregon. Just knowing that history, how big is this win for the program?
It's huge. It's a rivalry game, and I've said all along, when rivalries are close and they're contested games and it goes back and forth and there's give and take, it makes it even stronger, it makes it even better. And, this is the third time in my career I've been into an opportunity to be on a football team and around a group of kids that have had an opportunity to break a long streak. And it's a special moment. They should enjoy it, which they are. Trust me, they're enjoying it mightily, and they should. But it's a big statement for us to be able to, get ourselves back in a position to grow as a football team and a football program. And, Beaver Nation deserves it. They've been absolutely fantastic with all of us as coaches and players, and understanding what we're trying to do, and we try to do it the right way, and we don't have all the answers, but they deserve that as much as anybody else.
Gary, you mentioned what a good job Marcus did managing the game. How important was it for you to control tempo and play it at your pace rather than the way they like to go?
Well, that's an absolute must for us. It was a game plan coming in. We had to be able to get that done. And, the kids have played pretty well with that the last little bit. And I can't remember. I think I looked up at halftime and it was 22 minutes to 9 or something. Is that correct? It was something. It was a big stat for us, and we have to play it. We have to play like that. Don't anymore. This season's over with, and we'll see what the future brings. But I thought these kids learned to understand who they are overall in offense and defense, and how we had to play as a team to be able to win.
Gary, was there anybody that you were looking for after you shook hands with Coach Helfrich to celebrate this moment with? Seniors? Anybody in particular?
That one right there.
Sean Harlow?
No. No, my wife's a lot better looking than Sean Harlow. She came down and found me, so that was a great moment to be with her. She loves these kids, and she's with them all the time. And so to see her, and she knows what we all go through as coaches and players, and she's deeply embedded with these kids, and the time that she's been able to spend with all these kids. We've gone through time and get to know them. So she's a huge part of it. I was glad she was down there. But after that, there's nothing like a field getting rushed at home in those victorious moments, and saw a whole bunch of people, and I was glad to have every one of them on the field.
Coach, how do you think this can kind of be a building block going into next season? Not only finish the season 2 wins, but breaking this streak and giving the younger kids in this program a lot to look forward to.
It's big momentum. You look for those opportunities to be able to flip things as you continue to go forward, and I think it'll help us in all areas. I think it'll help the kids understand that a young football team battled like crazy, and they'll be able to look at their deficiencies. They'll look at what they did good, but they adopted a team philosophy and a mindset, and they handled it extremely well as we continue to grow. They got knocked down a lot, but they battled and got back up. And then when all of a sudden you have some good things happen to you, it's absolutely got to help your growth in your program, and it should help recruiting too. I think it'll help us in recruiting as we move forward.
When Oregon went up 10, then they didn't score again after that. So what changed defensively? What were you guys able to do to sort of lock them down? Because they seemed to be in a pretty good rhythm there in the third quarter.
Yeah, they were. The quarterback getting outside of the pocket and making the plays down the field was big. I thought the kid did a nice job of throwing the ball, and they caught the one big boot on the last touchdown down there. I don't know. Not really any magical calls or anything changed. We made plays. We had opportunities to make plays, and we made them. And we were able to execute. I think we got better pressure on the quarterback, especially that last drive. So,
how big of a momentum or emotional boost was it to have Robert, Drew, and Seth as your captains today?
Well, it's just something that I kind of felt like all those 3 kids have been through so much, and so many things that are way more important than football. And I think it was an emotional boost for the kids. I didn't even tell them until today that they were going to be out there and be the captains. And it was for those kids. They deserve that. It's a special moment for them to be able to be that. They've had football taken away from them for a period of time. And so I'm sure it was a boost, but I think it was the right thing to absolutely do for those kids to be honored in that situation.
Coach, you had a lot of kids on the sideline today, recruits.
Yeah.
You want to talk to us a little bit about a game like this and the magnitude of how that helps you going forward?
Well, again, I think if you can see this, you want big-time college football, you want to play in the Pac-12, you want a big-time college environment. Not to put on my recruiting hat, but you asked me, so you won't find a better spot as far as that environment. It was intense. The fans were it's a packed house. It was energetic. It was a great game. 2 teams teeing off against each other, a rivalry game. It'll help us down those lines without a doubt. But I think that the whole work of this year, kind of culminated in the last game, which is great for our kids, and I think it'll help us when we continue to go in recruiting. It was a great weekend for the kids that were here, and there's some big-time guys that were here. So I think they saw that, and they'll continue to see it as they finish the weekend.
Gary, you mentioned Marcus's control of the offense. He's really seemed to develop the past couple games. Now going into the offseason, how do you anticipate evaluating that quarterback situation, given that he was 3rd string before this?
Yeah, we'll just continue to go through building competition within spots, right? I mean, that's what you do, and right now that's not a big worry for me. I'm sure it's not a big worry for Marcus or Darryl or anybody else that's in the middle of that whole thing. It's the bottom line is right now we're going to enjoy this victory, and we want to create competition and roll. It's my boys. Hey, don't be so rough. Are we good? Okay, I'll let these guys go. Thank you very much. Go Beavs. Love you, boys. Okay.
Hey, I got that new iPhone 7. It's okay. It's water resistant.
If I broke a recorder, tell me. I'll pay you back. Go ahead.
Gavin Andrews, Sean Harlow, Ryan Noel, Mark Smith.
Who's that directed to? Huh? Amazing.
Great.
Talk to these seniors about how they feel. Go for it.
You know, coming in 5 years, not winning a game in the Civil War, to finish out senior career, senior night at home, it's unremarkable. It's breathtaking. Thank you all.
It's crazy. Our goals win every game, but that one has a little extra something special to it. And just to be able to get one last one, home game in our place, against them of all people, and to run the ball physically and enforce our will on them all game is just nothing better.
Marcus, can you talk a little bit about your role in the run game and then also Ryan's game today?
Yeah, I mean, Ryan kind of took charge of the run game. I mean, obviously he's doing what he can, and the O-line was making holes. I mean, credit all goes to those guys. I mean, I did what I can. And I did what I can with pull reads here and there, but those guys were, I mean, they took a load off my shoulders. The rain was coming down. I even had to think about throwing the ball. So those guys were just amazing up front.
Yeah, I mean, credit to these guys, man. Without them, I couldn't do half the things I was able to do today. I mean, I can't thank them enough. I mean, I'm going to miss them next year. Both these dudes, they're the core of our O-line right here. And I can't believe it's over.
I said it in an interview on Monday or Tuesday that he was going to have a better game. And, their running backs across from us. And, just follow through with that promise. So, it's a great feeling.
Ryan, you talked about last year's game was almost a dream because you didn't win. You had a big game. What is it about these Civil Wars? How different is it? And how special is it for you to have another game, another big game against Oregon?
I mean, it's amazing. People talk to me all week, 240,000. I'm just like, can we get a win first? And so, I mean, personal goals, that's all great and fine, but I don't care about that. I mean, we got to win, and that's something that we haven't seen in a long time. Since I was like 10 years old, I've been in Oregon my whole life, and since I was 10, we haven't gotten a win, and to be a part of our first win in such a long time, it's truly it's an amazing feeling. I can't believe it.
You guys seem to handle the rain a little better than Oregon. Why do you think that is?
Because our O-line's really physical. That's why.
You can see them scrambling at the end, trying to get their 2 minutes. It's a little bit difficult, obviously, to pass the ball in this kind of weather. The biggest thing for us is just hold on to the football, and the rest will come. And it did. And I can't thank these guys enough. They did an amazing job allowing me to do what I'm able to do.
The rain is not something that's brand new to us. We practice in the rain. Hats off to Gavin and all the guys touching the ball. I don't think we had any fumbles or ball security issues. So that's just what is expected here. And that's expected no matter what the conditions are.
Yeah, Ryan, did you know that, okay, did you know, like, when the rain really, really started coming down that, okay, I'm probably going to get the ball a bunch of times, and just how'd you feel on the sideline before? I think it was 21 consecutive runs between you two and AP.
Yeah, I mean, they just said straight up, we're going to run the ball. We're not going to pass it. I mean, you saw what we were doing when we ran the ball versus when we threw the ball. I mean, we can only do so much with that. They played great. Defense when we were passing the ball, we couldn't seem to get completion. I mean, the weather had a little bit of effect with that, but when it came to our run game, we just executed. I mean, simple as that. These guys did their job. I read my keys and I got what I could. And AP, I mean, without AP, I mean, I probably wouldn't have half the game I did today.
And then just the post-game scene, people start rushing the field. What was happening with all of you? Were you in the middle of it? What? Just tell me where you guys all were during that time.
Yeah, I was on someone's head at one point. I don't know. I mean, all of a sudden I'm getting hit left or right, and I turn around and see my sister, my 2 nieces, and I was hugging them, and all of a sudden I told them to get out of here. I don't want y'all to get hurt. So all of a sudden I'm in the air, and I was just taking in that moment, and it was amazing.
I don't know if this is better suited for the 2 seniors or Ryan and Marcus, but we've heard Coach Anderson talk about when this thing flips, it's going to be amazing. Do you guys feel that we're seeing the flip now?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at last season, we just had it. We had some close games and not so close games, and
2-10. This year we came out 4-8, and it's starting to flip. And it's gonna next season. It's all about these guys and making sure that stays flipping. I guess.
Yeah, without these guys, I mean, without the people, Coach A, he says it, who paved the way. I mean, we're not going to be able to flip without these guys right here. They're setting that foundation for us, and me and Marcus are just a part of it. I mean, we're gonna hopefully play through it to see where it really starts to flip. And even when we're gone, it's going to be something crazy. I mean, I'm excited to see what happens next year.
Ryan, good weekend for you, Civil War, and some scouting win.
Oh yeah, I seen that. My head coach is here actually. He texted me before the game, me and Blake Brando, because we went to the same high school, and he told us he was coming down, and we said once we figured out they got the win yesterday morning, yesterday afternoon, I texted him congrats and everything. So we'll make the trip up, and we'll see what happens next week. I'm excited for them.
For all of you guys, you talked about not having a Civil War win in your career, but for this program, it goes back to 2007. Were those things during the week that you thought about at all, or was it only just about your own respective careers?
I think it's something that everyone's aware of, obviously, but I don't think there's any added motivation.
It's not like we was at practice like, oh, we haven't got one in so long, we need to do this. No, we just played our game, and the rest came.
I know this game is always a good game too. I feel like my class should have 3 wins against them. It just didn't play out that way, and it just feels so good to have finally get that win.
Yeah, I think more than anything, rather than thinking of we haven't won in so long, it was more of just a pride thing for us to send our seniors out, because we've seen how hard they worked, and it kills them every time we lose. You can see it in their eyes after the game. So I mean, just to send them into the locker room and end their careers on a good note and seeing them smile after the game is just there's no better feeling.
And Marcus, for you, I mean, you seemed more comfortable the past 2 weeks than you had the rest of your career. Did something flip for you? Was it something before the past 2 weeks that really turned things around for you?
I think just the confidence in myself and the confidence the guys around me had. I mean, they were making plays, Ryan's making plays, receivers were making plays for me, and the O-line's giving me time to pass. So I mean, it's just a comfortability thing and just the confidence in the guys around me.
Thank you, guys.
How does it feel? It feels good to end a year like this. It's always good to end on a win, and so it feels great. Great day to get beef. It's a great day. That streak over with, so that's all that matters.
Agree. The scene afterward, guys, talk about that. What were your thoughts about when the students rushed the field?
About time. Yeah, I got tackled, so I was chilling with the person that tackled me.
Defensively, you guys shut them out the last quarter and a half. Anything different during that time?
Not really. I think we knew the game was gonna be on us. I think everybody stepped up to make plays, and this was just a good team victory. More of a mental focus, I'd say. Everybody was locked in, started depending on each other, telling each other that we needed each other to win this game. Everybody showed up, made the plays they needed to make, and at the end of the day, we got a W, so it was a good day.
For any of you, when the rain really started coming down, the offense comes out on the field, and I think they ran the ball 21 straight times or something crazy like that. When you're on the sideline and they're just churning the ball, like how much does that help you guys? How much does that pump you up to know they're just running the ball down their throats? Just what does that mean for a defender out there?
Let that clock keep ticking. That's all I thought about.
For all 3 of you, at one point you were down 10 and Oregon got the ball back. Did you know that if you didn't get a stop in some capacity on that drive that it could be over?
Not at all. Not at all. I just knew we just got to keep fighting. Coach A preached that every day. Keep fighting. That's our motto. Keep fighting. Good things happen. And look what happened. We knew we were going to win. Definitely.
We've been in that situation many times, and now that we knew how to handle it, and I think both sides of the ball did a good job with that.
Interesting, you alluded to the streak. The history of the program, has it started to mean more to you guys this week as you kind of come down, particularly for you guys as seniors?
Definitely for me, it feels good, man. I'm glad Coach A got that. He deserved it. The seniors deserve it. The freshmen, sophomores, juniors, everybody deserve it. The fans, you guys deserve it. Now y'all have something to talk about, so I feel good.
Go Beat. Go Beat.